All right, reflection three. Today we'll be speaking about the Song of Songs and what it's trying to get at and what does this mean in the current world. Now, obviously, the Song of Songs should not be a literal text. It just by no means is it a very literal text. I mean, you begin some pretty wacky ass shit if you thought that was literal text, but basically what this does is it leaves it up to our interpretation, our personal interpretation. Now, we can look at the canonical situation and say, well, you see, the man is God and the woman is Israel. He's trying to lead them. It doesn't matter to me. It's irrelevant. What I'm trying to look at here is what does this mean and what can I get from it throughout all of humanity? I'm not speaking on the historical terms. I'm talking about what can I get from it. Now, in class, we spoke about the three whatevers. I can't remember what they're called, but the three whatevers. Um, Goodness, beauty, and truth. Within today's society, I definitely could say I see a lot of truth and goodness. And it's almost like it's a scale for the three because you think about it, truth is absolute, obviously. That is truth. It's an absolute fact. It's an absolute understanding a concept that is undisputable. So we all, I think, have a pretty damn good idea of what truth is. Goodness, mostly the same concept. I mean, I think majority of society, the world society, understands what is good and what is bad. Obviously, there's a few exceptions, unlike truth, but the concept still applies that murder is bad, rape is bad, etc., etc. Where I think we hit a little bit of a bump is when we get to beauty, because beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. It is extremely hard to understand versus the other two because it's completely subjective. There is no subjective good. Well, I think technically there is, and there's definitely no subjective truth. There is subjective beauty. Now, what this means is that it's hard for people to understand and grasp. And what I think the Song of Songs is a pretty good idea or has a good grasp on is that when individuals let go of the concepts such as truth or someone who's very dependent on truth-based stuff and lets their heart speak for them. They're the things that cannot be described, but as we just spoke in class, we just want to bathe in. We want it undescribably. We just go to it and we just bask in the goodness undescribably. But I think it does a pretty damn good job of trying to explain that not everything necessarily has to make sense. Not everything has to be truth and good based. Well, probably should be good based, but not everything has to be specifically truth based. That we can live in a society where we can do as we must for the betterment, because I think it is highly dangerous to have a completely truth based society because it's just not very balanced. In God's creation, He gave us love. He gave us the option to see beauty, and we're not taking advantage of the fact that these are our options. We become more crude. We become more cynical. So therefore, by including beauty, it gets a hell of a lot better, I would say. So that's just my interpretation, but see you next time.